name is Sarah Nadira binti Muhammad Arba'i.
Hi, my name is Atika Raja binti Arash.
Hi, my name is Marda binti Jaffa.
Hi, my name is Nurul Iza binti Yusmi Hanif.
Hi, my name is Nurul Najwa binti Ahmad.
Today our group will be presenting to all of you about our topic, which is public administration. So firstly, we move into the introduction of the public administrations. So public administration is the implementation of government policies that use theories, practices and processes of management, politics and law to fulfill the legislative, executive and judicial mandates to carry out government regulatory and service functions. According to the National Center for Education Statistics in the United States, the study of public administration is defined as a program that focuses on the systematic study of executive organization and management and prepares individuals to serve as managers in the executive arm of local, state, and federal government, includes teaching in public administration's functions, development and principles, as well as public policy management, executive legislative relations, public budgetary procedures and financial management, administrative law, public personnel management, professional ethics, and research methodologies. This approach is managerial approach, which a business-like approach that tends to minimize the distinctions between public and private administration. This falls into two main groups, which are traditional approaches and new public management. Next is political approach. It provides political representation to a great diversity of organized political, economic, and social interests, and it is important to constraint on decision-making include political pluralism, limited time and resource pressures on public officials. The last one is legal approach. This approach is related to judicial functions in government, which emphasize the administrator's role in applying and enforcing the law. It is also concerned with the adjudicatory role of public organization. The approach has three interrelated sources. The first one is administrative law. So it determines the position and liabilities of state officials, including official procedures to be adopted, such as civil rights and liabilities of private individuals in dealing with public officials and official procedures. The second one is judicialization of public administration. So if public officials engage in adjudication, they must exercise their discretion and it may become legal matter. So the last one is constitutional law. So it governs the legitimacy of government action and the action of government. For example, legal authority of government, abuse of power and individuals' fundamental rights.
Next is the functions of public administrations. First of all, policy making. The most important functions of public administration is the process of formulating government policies. They have knowledge about making policies because they know all the needs and ensure that there is a continuous progress of the things that the public requires. Policymakers are crucial to ensure sound and appropriate policies are enacted, and also a good policy must uphold rule of law, promote fairness, development and security for people. Secondly, resource provision. Among the general functions of public administrations, one that cannot be ignored is the provision of resources and utilization. They play an important role in citizens and care for people basic needs. They are also in charge of preparations, forecasting and planning towards provision beforehand to ensure necessities get properly utilized. Lastly, budgetary planning and control. Government budgets require checks and balance. Public administration play an important function in the process of budgetary planning and control through the legislative, judiciary, or executive wings of government. Deals with accounting information that get processed in democratic government to know how much was spent in the prior year and how that was done to the performance of different ministries and public institutions.
Next is challenges in public administration in Malaysia. In Malaysia, in May 1969, attributed at the time to the weird imbalance between indigenous Malays, Bumiputera and non-Malays. The Malaysian government sought to re-engineer Malaysian society through the new economic policy NEP. The aim was to create a competitive Malay community, officially termed the Bumiputera Commercial and Industrial Community BCIC. In addition to subsidies, the Malay community were granted other advantages including quotas in university intakes and scholarships, government contracts and procurements, business licenses and loans, employment in the civil service and government-related entities, and even discount on new houses and dwellings. There was much abuse. Many business people who were approved by the government promptly sold their permits and licenses to non-Malay for instant profit, defeating the purpose of the scheme. And also, instant millionaire in the Malay community, it also produced some negativity consequences. First, many Malay business people who have been rewarded government contract continue to rely on government patronage as their business model. Rather than building viable businesses, they simply unsold the government contracts and permits to non-Malays. In other cases, they created joint ventures with non-Malay businesses, reaping the benefit as a nominal Malay partners. Rather than building acumen and business experience in their own right to keep their businesses going, they sought more Bumiputera contracts from government. In this Malay business ecosystem, business people do not learn the most important lesson in business, which is competitions. And then second is the political parties in the ruling coalitions use the permit and license system, the privatization process and government contracts to create a powerful network of individual business people who owe their business success solely to their political connections. This was especially true of some government agencies. These connected business people who expected to support other parties and politicians in the ruling coalitions with large sums of cash during general elections and internal party competitions. It became a win-win situation for the political patron and the business client. The lack of a legal definition of a social enterprise is one issue that has been a persistent source of confusion. Often falsely perceived as charities, social enterprises are in fact profit-making businesses but with a strong social and environmental purposes. For example, Earth Hire is an ethically driven business that sells handmade scarves and clothing. It donates 10% of its revenue to charities that support victims of human trafficking. And another social enterprise, Epic Homes, builds a relationship between Malaysia's indigenous Orang Asli population and urban communities through the construction of homes. As a result of the NEP, the majority of these Malay business people became rent seekers, using their Malay status to get government contracts. They had no valid claims to entrepreneurship but rather excel at exploiting government contracts. Using political pressure to extract further government contracts, they infected the political system in the broad. Power brokers in government access vast wealth to maintain their position via proxies in the business sector. In turn, these business people collected rent on behalf of their political sponsor in private, while publicly claiming to be acting in the interest of the Bumiputera community and the BCIC.
So next, let's look at the issue of a public administration in Malaysia. First, the issue of sentencing is in Malaysia is the determination of the punishment carried out is not commensurate with the offence. Further on this issue, based on this sentence, justice should not only be done, but it should also be seen as already done. This sentence is important because it is a priority in ensuring that the criminal justice system can deliver perfect justice to all parties. For example, in 2008 October 16, the killer of the murder and rape case of a Nurul Huda 10 years girl against Muhammad Abbas, he escaped the death penalty after the federal court set aside the conviction and sentence. The court, however, upheld the 20 years jail sentence and 24 lashes with a case decided by the Johor Bahru Session Court for the offence of raping the girl. But the criminal escaped whipping because he was 52 years old at the time. This criminal story has become a hot conversation and dissatisfaction among the community because the punishment given into him is not commensurate based on the crime committed. Society wants to see a criminal justice system implemented with a justice and can be felt by all parties, no matter who they are, with the criminal or victim of a crime. Second issue is about overgoing corruption occurs in government organization. There is no need to see outside country because Malaysia position in the Corruption Perception Index 2021 released by Transparency International continues to fall to 62 place out of a total 180 countries compared at 57 place in 2020. The government needs to look into this matter seriously because corruption among civil servants in Malaysia is considered a very serious issue. For example, at KLIA, Kuala Lumpur International Airport, there are more than 30,000 illegal immigrants allowed to enter the country so easily with remuneration. Second example is prostitution activities where prostitutes who enter the country give bribes to government officials. It not only has a bad effect but also damages the image of the country. In addition, politicians who hold positions such as minister also commit corruption so that the people or their clique vote for them during election in order to hold position in government organization. It turns out the higher one position, the more corrupt he can be. The culture of corruption caused the country to fail in various dimensions, including leadership, economy, social science, and technology. If we not prevent, the corruption occurs in government organization. Last but not least issue is the weakness of the government in solving the problem of water pollution in Malaysia. Every year, there will definitely happen a water pollution in Malaysia. We can see that the state of Selangor is always experience the water supply disruption due to river pollution that occurs due to the chemical dumping by irresponsible parties. The state government has failed to resolve this issue because for not taking action against factories that pollute the river as a sources of our water. This incident of water pollution has revealed many weaknesses in the management of river basin and aspect of water security by the Malaysian government that need to be improved immediately. And apart from chemical as well, the long-running issue of garbage disposal in the river often occurs due to the lack of aggressive enforcement action by the state government. The government takes the issue lightly. This is because not all river or ocean in Malaysia are given enforcement to find individuals or groups who pollute water resources in the country.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I will proceed about exhortation to outcome the issues. There are many exhortations to outcome the issues. For the first issue, the government and the court must be efficient and fair in determining the decisions. This is because to ensure that the accused and the victim get a proper defense. For example, in viral case recently, the woman was involved in the bicycle lajak accidents that claimed 8 lives. So all parties, including the governments, should be concerned in safeguarding the dignity and right of person without taking a prejudiced approach and punishing person before she is proven guilty. For a second issue, the exhortation for the second issue is the government should give instruction and advice to their organization about the awareness of corruption regularly. For instance, the government must be establish regulations and increase anti-corruption among its organizations. This is because having such policies in place without periodic trainings may not be sufficient for the government organization to prove that it has adequate prevention prepared to combat corruptions. Last but not least, the government also can engage with their citizens, raising their awareness of water pollution and way to reduce it. For example, the communications and public awareness education program, also known as CEPA, need to be intensified. This will cause the citizen for better understandings about the importance of maintaining water cleanliness. If we do this, of course the water pollution can be reduced. Otherwise, the issue will be like the water pollution that happened in Sungai Kim Kim, Johor, that caused many people affected. In conclusion, All parties, especially the government, must be responsible in communicating about importance of public administration. This is because it can help to resolve all issues involving the harmony of the country. With this approach, the country will be peaceful without any problems. That's all for me. Thank you.